So you want to use a good quality Bluetooth headset for your business apps at home or in the office while you're in store, because in this video, we're going to show you the Jabra Evolve Bluetooth headset, the Evolve 65 and the EPOS 200 series, and we put them through a battery of real life tests so that you know if they're worth buying, and stick around to the end where we actually tell you if they're worth buying. Maestro, roll the intro. And welcome to What the Tech. I'm the founder of Global Tech Worldwide, Rolando, here at the helm. If you have not seen Global Tech and What the Tech podcast before, we talk about business trends, and we also review office technology. And in this episode, you're in store for a good one. But before we get to all the action, let me introduce my co-pilot that's always joining me at this hour. He's the last guy standing in line for a Tom Brady autograph, Dave Kelly.
You flubbed that one a little bit. Listen, I was standing in the back of the line, and then the line closed, and I never was able to meet Tom Brady. But listen, I got to say, I was lucky enough to meet Robert Gronkowski many years ago. We met him out. We got his autograph. We got his picture. My son was there. My wife was there. We left with some memorabilia. I actually think one of the waitresses gave my wife the fork that he used for eating that day, and I'm pretty sure that we still have it. I don't quite know what that is worth. I'm not going to stick it next to his jersey, that's for sure. Hey, listen, more interestingly than me getting someone's autograph, today we put two Danish device brands head-to-head with their middleweight division entries. This is not the tippity top. This is not the entry level. This is where a lot of the customers are sitting. It's a budget-friendly solutions, right in that like sub $200 sector there.
Yes. No, these are two very popular headsets for a lot of our customers, buying both of these exact models actually. And I think it's about time that we put them next to each other to see which one will come out on top, Dave.
Absolutely. So we've put the two products head to head. We've tested them. We're going to include some real world demonstrations so that you can hear how these devices sound in different environments. So with that, why don't we jump into it?
All right. So let's start off with something real simple and easy so you can see what you get when you're buying these two items. We've got a tabletop view of both of these things and what comes in the box. So first of all, let's start with the Jabra Evolve 65. They both are Bluetooth headsets. In this case, what I'm showing you is both a mono version. And in the Jabra version, we provide a value-added screen, microphone windscreens. And that's what that looks like. It's actually a compostable bag, Dave. We've switched over to compostable bags, biodegradable bags, so that you can feel good about the planet and about what you're doing and getting from Global Tech Worldwide. In the box, it comes with a carry case. That's what that looks like. Let me explain also on this carry case, you're going to see there is a Bluetooth dongle. We'll give you some pro tips about this a little bit later. But if you're looking for that Bluetooth dongle, it's inside the carry case. I know that's one of the top questions that you tend to get when it comes to this. You also get a USB cable, so you can connect it and charge it that way as well. And in the box, obviously standard manuals and stuff, but nobody reads that anymore, Dave. You can go online. We have a ton of videos on the Evolve 65 where we've done some deep dives. So if you want those, we'll also throw those in the description for you, so that you can find out a little bit more about what it can and can't do. So that's on the 65 side. Let me show you the Sennheiser. It comes in a plastic bag. So if you're watching this today and you may be thinking about getting it, you're not getting anything refurbished or remodeled or anything like that. That's just, I believe, the trend. I'm seeing that happen with several other manufacturers, Dave, where they're going to plastic bag. I know that there's a lot of supply chain shortages around the world, even with cardboard boxes. So I'm not sure if that's affecting them. We'd love to hear from EPOS if that's the case, or just trying to save some money. So in the box, you get this nice, wonderful Bluetooth headset. It's a slightly different design. It's got a larger ear cup, so it's going to cover you a little bit better around your ear when it comes to staying in place. And Dave and I are going to get to that and all of what we found testing this one as well. You also, in this case, you're going to get a bonus from us in the way of a cleaning cloth. So you'll be able to clean your glasses, your screens, and devices, and so forth, and the headset as well. And you also, with this one, you get a Bluetooth dongle. You want to use that with your PC. You will save yourself a lot of headache. A little comment card, so if you want to drop us a line, you know where to send those comments, suggestions, and you also get a you get a USB cable, and in this case, it's a USB-C. So you're going to connect it via USB-C on the headset side. And on the PC side, it's going to be your standard USB-A cable.
Yep.
All right, Dave. Did I miss anything else there?
You know what? I just want to point out that with the EPOS Adapt 200 series, there are 4 SKUs. There's a single ear and a binaural, so a mono and a binaural. And then there's a USB-A or USB-C. So that's why there's 4 SKUs, and they are all Teams friendly here. One thing I really like about that Jabra product, Rolando, take out that charging cable that comes with the Jabra headset. Do they give you the real nice orange one?
Yeah, this one you get a really almost like an electric orange kind of color. I don't know how it shows, reddish orange. If I'm looking at it here, so it's a very distinct color. It will stand out. You will not lose this cable. Believe me, it will stand out on your desk.
Yeah, and it matches the headset too.
Absolutely. Another thing to point out on this cable, let me see if I can zoom it in. Let me get you a close-up. There we go. So on this cable, you get the almost Android-style connector, which is a USB mini, and that's going to plug in on the headset side. And then on the PC side or your USB charger, you have the standard USB-A.
So I can use that with any USB brick that I have laying around the house?
Absolutely. You sure can, Dave. You can use that with any brick USB charging apparatus that you may have. So that's from an unboxing perspective. This is kind of the side by side. You know, if we lay them on the table here, you could see there's some similarities, but some differences here. You've got a rotating boom on the outside, and this one has like a magnetic click capability, so it stays out of the way when you're just in listen only mode. And this one's got the boom on the inside. So there's some advantages to that, Dave, with it being on the inside. From the standpoint of just look and appeal. If you're looking at this from sideways, it just looks like you're wearing a standard Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, 2 different designs right there. You know, a lot of people say headsets are all the same. I mean, right here, 2 big brands, they decided to go totally different routes. You can see the difference in the size for the ear coupling. You know, the fact that the boom microphone, one is hiding on the inside, the other one's kind of relaying on a magnet. I'll say the Jabra, it has those nice looking materials, but you know, EPOS, I kind of like the blacked out look as well. I gotta say, you don't see it coming a mile away. What do they call that out in the car scene? They call that the murdered out look.
Oh man, black. You know cars way better than I do, so I have no idea about that. Another thing to point out, I'll bring it even closer. Another difference here, Dave, and I know that you and I we both challenged each other to use different ones so we could both take opposing views and whatnot. On the Jabra, the controls are towards the bottom, and they modified that on the Evolve 2 line. But if you're getting this one, you'll find the controls at the bottom, whereas on the EPOS, you will see that your controls are from an ergonomic standpoint, I found them to be positioned slightly better. So you can reach a little bit more intuitively for those buttons. You also get a dedicated, you have the ability to, I think, on this one, to mute a little bit easier because it comes with a button that allows you to do that. On the Jabra, you have to hold down the low volume for 2 seconds and then it will mute.
And when you mute in the Jabra, does it give you an audible?
Yes, you get it. You get an indication. And both of these, I should say, the Jabra. Yep, I've had 2 thoughts in my head. So yes, you can mute both of them. I don't know why I'm having I'm going to take a sip of my broth here. See if I can clear my throat here, and also help my mouth talk a little bit better. So yes, so on these, you a couple of other differences. This one has a fixed head band, meaning that it's not going to adjust from a telescopic standpoint, meaning you can't pull it out, but you get a good bit of stretch when you're using this particular product, as well as, let me bring it in a closer, inside the headband, you have this extra comfort pad that's built in. That's also a big difference. This is a kind of a silicone material that allows it to rest on your head a little bit easier. And the manufacturers are going to more of this style because it's just more durable, whereas this one has a harder plastic. It doesn't have a comfort band. It's inside of the unit. All right. This does have a telescopic type of headband that's adjustable, as you can see here. It rotates, so it's going to allow you to wear it much more comfortable, Dave, than those cheapy $40 headsets you find on Amazon. These are just... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't want to jump in front of you like that, Rolando. On that EPOS solution, let's do another close-up on that.
Okay.
And you'll notice that it does adjust, but it just adjusts a little bit differently. You can pull down that ear speaker, but you can see how it kind of adjusts.
Oh yes, right
within itself there. So it's just a different design. They just went a different route with it, but it will fit folks that are have larger heads or small heads. I don't know what the capacity is of it being able to be worn, but it does certainly have some adjustment there for folks that have different size heads.
One other thing here to point, Dave, you have a dedicated Teams button on the EPOS. And the advantage of the EPOS is that it's a newer model. So they've had the advantage of the last couple of years hearing what customers want. And the timing on this is right, given that Microsoft has over 250 million subscribers that are on the Teams platform today. So if you're a Teams shop, I would say maybe the EPOS is a little bit of advantage over that with the dedicated Teams button. I know that Jabra would say that they have upgrades available for folks that are on Microsoft for that, but you do not get a dedicated Teams button on the Evolve 65. On their newer product line, they have some of that, but on this edge, for Teams users that want that button, I would say the EPOS does have a little bit of an advantage there on that. Dave, you wanted to say something else?
I know. I want to jump into the wearability of the headset. So we have some demos that we can pull up of the headset.
Yeah, let's go for that. So what do we have next, Lori? I've lost my place here, chit-chatting with Dave. Let's say we go to the... Okay. Okay, so let's jump into that video. We have a video on the 65. Is that what we're going to go to now then? Okay, well, let's go to that. So we've got a video we want to show you here with us using this product, because at the end of the day, it's about how it feels to you, how it sits on your head. How well are you going to be able to tolerate a device like this? So we've got some videos to show you exactly what's going on when you're using them. Go ahead, Ori, roll that.
So in this series of tests, I'll be wearing the Jabra Evolve 65 Bluetooth headset. And Dave, you've got the EPOS Adapt 200 series Bluetooth headset. One of the complaints is that people say that this slides off their head very easily. So I want to show that. Let me take my glasses off for a second. Okay.
But
Right.
the multitasking capabilities of this, if you had to fill up your dog's water bowl, you had to pick up your child, you had to pick up some toys or something. Man, I tell you, look at this. Not to embarrass myself, but very, very impressive with
And it doesn't slide off your head either.
No.
But what I've found on this particular headset is that it does slide off a little bit. So as you can see, just moving my head around, it slides, and I'm not whipping it around.
Oh. See, I can do that with this one.
Like you just did. So I just did that, and you see it'll slide off. All right, team, and that's been wonderful meeting. Thank you for joining me today on Ring Central with our new toys, the Jabra Evolve 65. And Dave, you've got the
EPOS Adapt 231.
All right, thank you. Back to you in the studio.
All right. I love that.
Yeah, not to embarrass myself. I channeled
No.
my inner dog, my inner canine, to do that kind of shaking of the head like that. But hey, listen, I'm in love with this headset. I must say, I had been using something else, and it's lightweight. It's so sturdy.
Mhm.
Oh, you and I were having a conversation about this the other day. It allows me to stay hands-free when I need to be hands-free. If you
Right.
bend over to multitask, you're pulling a file out of a filing cabinet and the headset falls on the ground, you're suddenly not hands-free. You're juggling to kind of catch it, make sure it doesn't hit the ground. Or if you're holding something, it's going to hit the ground. This thing just stays on perfectly well for me. And I know everybody's a little bit different. We're actually going to do a measurement test, a cranium.
Yeah, we are, because I have a small head. And Dave, I've found that with the with headsets, there are shirts. I'm wearing a shirt that's a certain size. If you have a small head, medium head, large head, there's no way for you to know if something's actually going to fit and stay on your head, like what you saw in that video. And none of the manufacturers, none that I'm aware of. So if one of the manufacturers, folks are listening, Jabra or EPOS, and you can point us in the right direction, please feel free to drop in the comments how you know if a particular thing is going to fit on your head very well. And so given that you and I have two very different size heads, I know that mine is kind of runs on the small to medium size, probably more on the small side. I know folks that reach out to us, they always have that curiosity, that question about how that would fit. So we're going to size up our heads, give people a chance to see, okay, this is something I can do at home and measure this and know, okay, am I going to experience that same problem or not? Because there's no medium, small, large, or extra large in terms of any kind of qualitative or quantitative ways to measure how this will fit on your head. So we're going to do a semi-scientific experiment here at the end as we measure the noggins.
And I think we know, I've joked about having a Charlie Brown cranium, whatever. I'm not hiding. I'm definitely not hiding that.
No, but the other thing that, Dave, if we're looking at this video that we played, we showed not just the fit and how these two devices stay on your head, but we also had a chance to take a look at the audio. If you are just somebody that's never used these before, you may not notice the difference. But if you're watching this or even listening to this, what I would do is hit the rewind later on and listen to that conversation. You're going to hear some slight subtle differences in the tone of my voice versus Dave's voice. That's what I could make out, Dave, as I was listening to hear it on the playback. Okay, and I love this. My producer is reminding me that we've got some other audio tests for you to hear later on in the show as well, so you can hear more of the differences between the two. Back to you, Dave. What do you got to say on that?
So in terms of stability, just looking at this demo, I'd say that the EPOS Adapt 200 series wins this particular round. But again, I'm not wearing the 65 to see how it stays on my particular head. I'm going to take a quick measurement of my cranium, Rolando. I'm curious. I've never done this before. I have a number
do it live
of
for
mine,
everybody. And like you said, your cranium runs on the larger side of things, right?
which scientifically means I'm smart. As anybody that has met me would agree.
I agree with that.
And I'm
So what
pulling
does
in-
the tail of the tape say?
Woo, 24 inches.
My
Damn.
goodness. I guess that's a Charlie Brown. So if
That
you're
is a
watching
Charlie
this
Brown.
and you want to do this at home, and Dave, you say you run on the large side of things and you can measure your head and you got a large 24-incher headset or head, then you're going to find things that are going to fit more snug, right? Dave, I know that you could share this about using, we both used probably hundreds of headsets over the years. And you can tell folks if you find that headsets tend to be snug when you have a 24-inch noggin.
Yeah, and you know what? Everybody is a little bit different. I've talked to folks that have just come right out and they say my head is giant. What is the best headset? It's a tough thing to recommend. I've never done this test here, but now I could at least, instead of just saying I have a big head too, I can say I've measured it. I've measured it. And this is my experience with these particular headsets, and maybe they'd have the same experience there.
I'm curious, Dave, on the Evolve 65. If we saw in that video, it slid off my head. I know you've used something similar or even that product in the past. Have you found that it also has that type of issue with somebody that, like yourself, a Charlie Brown head?
Yes. So I've used the Evolve 75 and the Evolve 40. I think the Evolve 40 is a closer in class to the one that you're testing there, the 65.
Yep.
It is a corded headset, but it is available in a single ear, just like the one that you're testing. And yeah, I love the headset. It sounds great. It has a good microphone. It's comfortable, but the wearability, you know what? If I was doing any of that moving and shaking, it would have definitely whipped off my head.
I think that's one of the things, and we want to be fair to both of these devices. They're both great devices because we sell a lot of them. But in being very factual with our viewers, Dave, we have to point out the good and the things that are not so good. And in this particular case, if that is a deal breaker for you and you kind of are up and down and maybe you're bending to pick down things, maybe you're moving around your office a little bit more than just sitting at your desk all day long, that may be a consideration for those that are that's the type of activity they do throughout their workday.
And you know what? If there's other types of tests that you would like to see as a viewer, bump that like button, leave us a comment, give us other ideas of how we could show how these would fit on other size craniums.
All right, I'm gonna do that right now as well, so that people can see what kind of non-Charlie Brown head I have.
24.
I don't know, man. I haven't done this since probably like graduation day in college. Where they measure you for your hats and whatnot. Is that right? Hold on. I'm having a hard time with the measuring tape here.
He doesn't like the truth. He doesn't like the facts.
The facts are stubborn things. I think that
Feeling
was
bloated today.
Who said that? Facts are stubborn things. That was one of our founding farmers that said. Founding fathers. It's a 22.5 inches. So
wow.
Just under 23 inches. And that's a smaller head, and an inch makes a huge difference. If you've worn baseball caps, you could, they come in very incremental sizes. So I'm just about 2 inches off of Dave, and that's the smaller. Now, if you're female, you probably have a smaller head. I would imagine. I'm not a scientist, so if any ladies want to send me bad emails, I just don't know. But I'm just gonna guess, based on the females I know, Dave, they tend to have smaller heads, which doesn't imply anything about intelligence. I know a lot of intelligent women with smaller heads, much smarter than me. But that gives you an idea. So my head is a smaller towards the smaller end, and I still experience that with the headset sliding off. So is what you saw in that video.
All right. So wearability is definitely an important part with wearable technology, wearable devices.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's get into some more of these demos. How do these products sound?
Let's go into that, Dave. So let's tee it up for our indoor stuff. So if you want to use a Bluetooth headset inside your office, inside your home, Dave, over the last 20 months, a lot of us have been stuck at home, and some of us are starting to migrate to the office. And one of the things that we hear all the time from customers is that they want to know what works well in their environment and will either sound good, filter out that dog noise that's barking, filter out a toddler or a young one that's in the background playing around them. We've all been there, and we've got something to show you. And we actually had during one of our meetings, and it wasn't planned, because how often can you time a kid that's having a temper tantrum? And on cue, just like, I need you to have a temper tantrum right now because I'm doing some filming and talking to Dave, and I need you to back me up on this so that we could do this demo. And that actually happened. And we wanted to share it with you because that is one of the number one questions that comes through, right, Dave, when it comes to headsets. Can it block out my kid if they're having a tantrum or they're screaming and yelling in the background? And Ori, do we have that video queued up, or is it the audio? Which one are we going to? Oh, so it's an audio. So you actually hear a conversation between Dave and I, and my little guy having a little bit of a meltdown, and he's about 3 feet away from me when we were doing this. So go ahead, Ori, roll that so that folks can hear it. And before you do that, let's give a listen up. So if you're listening to this, you'll want to hear it with headphones.
Well, I'm on the Jabra Evolve 65.
And I'm on the Sennheiser 231.
All right, you sound good. It sounds very natural. And actually, I was looking at the video from our podcast yesterday, and I noticed that Scott was using that as well.
So it's really nice. So the 231 is part of a series of headsets. Oh, Matthias.
He wants to be in with Mama. Mama's trying to take a break. Come on, Tias. Let's go. Come on. Come on, let's go talk to Dave. Come on. Come on. Go. Yeah, you hearing all this? Come on.
No.
Let's give Mama a break.
Microphone's blocking all of it out.
Oh my God, he's like 3 feet from me and having a meltdown.
I'm totally kidding.
No. Come on, let's go play with Nibs.
No, there you go. And I don't know about you, Dave. I know you've had some kids. I'm sure there's many millions of parents out there that can relate to that situation over the last 18 to 19 months. You know?
Yeah, without a doubt. Let me see. Do we want to throw the pro tip up here? Both of these, we were doing a test with the microphones to see if the background noise would get in there. But, and I might be jumping the gun here to the producer. Oh, I am totally jumping the gun. It's a pro tip that we're going to share in just a couple of minutes.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to that pro tip. That's all right, Dave. But I just want to have a quick discussion on that I have yet to find a headset that can filter that out. So if you, Jabra, EPOS, Poly even, Yealink, you've got a device that will do that and will do it well. Let us know. So far on the kid tests, in this case it was the Jabra, but I think, did we have another test on that? We do have something else. It was not able to filter out that background. Now they all claim they filter out background noise, but Dave, we did some other indoor tests, right? Earlier in the year, and we did washing dishes and several other things. All of them had issues with specific sounds, and certain sounds they were able to filter out, like wind, for example. That's been a challenge for some of the headsets we've tested in the past. Some have come out with flying colors. On this one, the Evolve 65 was not able to. It did not beat out my little guy, who was not happy with what was going on.
What I will say is this, though. If you were only 3 feet away from him, it did a good job with at least reducing that decibel level that was coming through to the other side.
Right.
I mean, you couldn't pretend it wasn't happening.
Right.
But it was still somewhat filtered out.
It was partially filtered. So it's okay, but I know that folks want to know, can it completely get rid of it? And the answer right now on the Evolve 65, no.
Nope. Sorry.
So it did not meet the challenge. My kid won that round. All right, we have a couple more tests, Dave, that we want to talk about, and that is the range test. That's probably the second most asked question. So if you want to know what you could do with these Bluetooth headsets, let's take a look at what you could do when you walk around your house and what you would sound like if you are on the call. Go ahead and roll that, Ori.
All right, let's do this. So we're going to walk around, and I'm going to go up the steps. Where's the little?
No, you're gonna have to keep on talking.
Right, okay. I'm up on the 3rd floor right now, where I'm going to turn around. Oh, right, follow me this way. This way. I'm at the top of the steps. I'm coming back down. Gonna walk back to the office area. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Back into my office here. And back, sitting at my desk. Oh, where you've got as well image there. And that's been the walk around up and down the steps with the Jabra Evolve 65 Bluetooth headset.
All right. You can see we walked around, and you do get some range, but once you come around the corner and you've got other objects, you are just going to lose some. As you heard, the sound itself, the sound quality goes down. One of the things that a lot of these manufacturers will do is, and depending on the product, is they may advertise that you can get 100 meters of range, and that that varies, Dave.
They like that word.
Up to.
It's
And
fair.
I don't know. I don't love that they put that on there, because it creates the, I don't want to use the word illusion, but it creates the appearance, at least, that you can get that. Now, you could get that if you're on a football field and there's nobody in front of you. You have zero obstacles.
True.
You have zero walls and plants and bookshelves. So, and so let's jump onto the EPOS one and show you what that looks like.
So in this test, I'm doing the exact same range and walk around test as we did with the Evolve 65. Going up the stairs, down the stairs, and out the back through the deck. So let's start with the steps. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to walk over by the steps. Just go up to the top of the steps. I'm going about 20, 30, almost 40 feet over here. I'm walking over to the top of the steps. I'm going to walk right over to the entrance of one of my other rooms and see if you can hear me. EPOS Adapt 230. All right, now we're going to walk back down to the bottom of the steps. All right, there we go. And I'm going to walk right back over to my office. And that is the walk around test with the EPOS Adapt 230.
All right.
Pretty good
With a little
range. You know, for
production assistant.
for a Bluetooth headset, the range is good. You know, we don't need to be 100 miles away from our phone. It's about just having that freedom when necessary. And I think even in your environment, you know, your home office house is laid out like mine. Most of my square footage is stacked up on each other.
Yep.
So yeah, you know, and it's kind of hard to measure. Do you measure the range like that? Is it line of sight going through the ceiling and the floors? I don't know, but you were able to go up to your 3rd floor with both of those headsets.
Yes, and they both experienced a problem right at the same point, as soon as I got to the landing. So far it's even. I will give you a pro tip, Dave, that one of the things that I did do to get up to the 3rd floor is use our Bluetooth extender. We're calling that a blue beacon, and that actually is what allows me to get up those steps. Otherwise, the distance is shorter. That you can get on the range in terms of both of these Bluetooth headsets. And so we'll have some links in the description as well, so that if you want to get that longer range on these headsets, because I use them both with dongles, I use them both with the Bluetooth, the Blue Beacon range extender, so that I can move up that far. And actually I can go out to the front door as well with both of these using the Bluetooth range extender that we have. So links available for you if you'd like to get better signal and longer distance on these.
Yeah, and also if you want to see more indoor tests, we have an episode of indoor tests where we try out 6 noise canceling headsets, and we'll make sure that we put the link in the description below as well for those. All
right, thank you, Dave. That's awesome. Did we have the going outdoor through the? Is that we want to roll on that one, or we? Okay, so. Okay, so now, okay, oh, gotcha. So those have been the test actually using it walking around the house. Now, Dave, one of the things that happens if you happen to be somewhere where you live and you got a deck, I know I go out on my deck here quite a bit. We'll see a different kind of test. So you're on that headset, that Bluetooth headset, and you want to stay on that conference call, on that online meeting. But guess what, Dave? You want to enjoy a little bit of that sunshine. Maybe you're not the active speaker talking, and you want to know if your audio is going to come through in case you get called to participate in the meeting. Let's roll some footage and see what that sounds like when you're connected and you got to go outdoors and walk through maybe your glass doors onto your patio. Go ahead.
So in this test, I'm going to step out probably about 15 to 20 feet outside of the office and see what that sounds like. And you'll be able to also to hear it. So here we go. All right. So I'm going to step outside on this nice sunny day. I'm going to close the glass door behind me, screen door. I'm just going to walk out here. Oh, okay. Who wouldn't want to be outside? All right. And a call or maybe listen to that conference call. Okay, so I'm just going to step back here. All right. There we go. And that has been a test going outside with the Jabra Evolve 65 Bluetooth headset. Now I'm going to go ahead and walk out to the deck, just like I did with the Jabra Evolve 65, and see if we get similar results, better or worse. I'm walking right out on the deck. I'm going to close the glass doors and screen. Nice and sunny. Okay, so I'm walking back in, closing the glass doors. I've got my little one here helping me, but he wants to be a TV star already. So that's been a test with the EPOS Adapt 230 Bluetooth headset. Back to you.
Matthias, boy, he's amazing. So you saw both of these struggle on this test, and I think the EPOS struggled a little bit more. You completely lost my audio as I was talking and I went out on the deck. The Jabra struggled, but not nearly as much. So you can again see, Dave, Bluetooth is really not meant for, like you said, going a country mile. It's really meant better for short range. So if you need something that's long range, or even, in this case, it's 15, 20 feet, you have to know that there are some challenges when it comes to Bluetooth, even when you use a Bluetooth range extender.
One of my favorite ways to get unlimited range, and I know I've said it 100 times, it's to have the UC app on your mobile device, pair the headset to the app, and now you have as much range as you need as long as you have access to a network.
That's right. That's probably the better way to go if you're going to be walking outside. And both of these, Dave, pair to a mobile phone. So if you did want to be outside and you wanted to be on that conference call or on that online meeting, you have no problems. Both of these can handle mobile or PC connections.
Yep, absolutely. And I think it's also important for us to share that both of these devices are multi-use devices, which means that it can hold a pairing to a cell phone and also your computer, and then just switch in between each source depending on what you happen to be doing at that moment in time.
That's right. That's the difference between a professional type device and those other lower cost device. So Dave, we're ready to jump on now. You're on the online meeting side, right? We got a couple more tests in store for the folks.
Yeah, let's jump into the next demo that we have, Ori.
So in this series of tests, I'll be wearing the Jabra Evolve 65 Bluetooth headset. And Dave, you've got the EPOS Adapt 200 series Bluetooth headset.
Yes, I do. Courtesy of Shannon over at EPOS. Thank you so much. This is the Adapt 231 Bluetooth wireless headset. Hopefully my audio is coming through well. I'm not using my podcasting mic. It's all the audio is, transmit and receive is all from this device, again, paired up with my Bluetooth dongle. I am loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Good. And you mentioned something that I think is going to be important for folks watching is that you're connected via your dongle. I also have a dongle. This is a spare one, but I'm also connected via a dongle right into the USB. And I'm actually using our Blue Beacon product so I can get a little bit better range with it versus just the dongle itself. All right, team. And that's been a wonderful meeting. Thank you for joining me today on Ring Central with our new toys, the Jabra Evolve 65. And Dave, you've got the
EPOS Adapt 231.
All right. Thank you. Back to you in the studio.
Hey, listen, my enthusiasm seems ridiculous. I had never tried this headset before. I've seen online reviews. I've read about it. We've trained our people on it. I am so happy to finally have had time to use it. I've absolutely fallen in love with the comfort. I sound great. I mean, actually, let me leave that to the viewers to decide. That's the audio that you hear from this particular product. I didn't hear any static. I didn't hear any background noise. There was no delay or robotic noise, assuming that I was, sitting close there. But I gotta say this: I was charging this headset for our demo today, and I was using something else. It wasn't that Jabra product. I was just using something else. And when I finally took that headset off to put my EPOS headset on just a little while ago, my head was tired. My ears kind of hurt from the other headset. This thing is a welcome addition. This is probably going to end up being my go-to product.
Interesting, Dave. That says a lot because you've a veteran of lots and lots of headsets that you've used. That's very interesting that you're going to be your everyday headset.
You know what? And I don't have to worry about budget. I can get my hands on anything. But this is nice. Now the next demo was cool. The next demo, I bring this thing into the field. Ori, why don't we show them how this demo went here?
Hey, Rolando, how are you, man?
What's up? How you doing, Dave?
Hey, I'm doing really good. I just wanted to check in with you. I'm still doing the evaluation on the EPOS Adapt 231. I love it. It's very comfortable. So I'm actually in the field. I'm connected to an iPhone. Using our Ring Central network, which I love it. I'm so glad that we've moved to the cloud. It really makes things easy.
Absolutely.
And I'm using a mobile network, just a mobile network. I don't know if it's 4 or 5G, but
it's coming through just fine. The video quality is acceptable. Audio-wise, you sound fine. I'm not hearing any crazy noises. It's not staticky or garbled. I can understand every word that you're saying.
You're still using that Jabra headset. What do you think?
I am. I'm on the Jabra Evolve 65, and I'm connected over the PC using. Obviously, we're on Ring Central, but I'm hearing you fine. I like it. All right, Dave. Well, thanks for checking in. I'll see you in the office.
That sounds good. Bye, Ro.
All righty.
So you can see how it worked great there on the Big Commerce, on the Ring Central platform. Now, as we know, this can also be used on other platforms like Zoom and Teams and really any UC application that's out there. I think you'll get a great experience with both of these devices.
And don't we have a short clip on the Zoom for those Zoom folks that may be wondering, how does this actually sound when you're on Zoom? Ori, go ahead and roll the Zoom footage.
Hi, this is Rolando, and I'm doing a quick test using the Zoom platform with the Evolve 65 Bluetooth headset. I've turned on the original sound on the Zoom. As you know, on Zoom, you can have enhanced sound that is something that's processed on the back end. It's part of the settings, or the original sound. I'm not doing any filtering, so all you're hearing is the exact sound from my microphone on this Bluetooth headset. Now I'm going to bring in one of my colleagues, Dave, and we'll have an open conversation so that you can hear what both of these sound like on Zoom.
Hey, Rolando. Yep, I am using a new product from our friends over at EPOS. This is the Adapt 231 Bluetooth wireless headset. I'm using this also with the Zoom application, connected via their EPOS USB-C Bluetooth dongle. I'm hearing your audio, like I said earlier, great receive volume, no issues with distortion.
Okay. Awesome.
I'm in a quiet environment right now. We'll do some tests when I'm outside, but how am I coming through to you?
You sound loud and clear right now. No issues, no distortion. I'm not hearing any echo. I'm not hearing any feedback. I'm not hearing any jitter. So from my standpoint, it sounds like the way you should. You sound natural. You sound like you're coming in nice and strong. So it's very acceptable to me.
Hey, great product for the Zoom application.
Right. All right. Well, this has been a test with the Evolve 65 by Jabra Bluetooth headset, as well as the
EPOS Adapt 231 Bluetooth.
All right. Back to you in the studio.
All right. And I'm in the studio. I shoot it
We're
back
in
to
the
myself.
studio. Hey, speaking of
And
the studio, Rolando, what's one of the desk phones that you have? Do you have a desk phone that supports Bluetooth? Because I know a lot of people say, I have a desk phone, it has Bluetooth. Will these work?
Absolutely, it will. And so one of the things that I believe we've got teed up is, can this using, well, I was using the Evolve 65 and using it with a actual Bluetooth desk phone. As more people are going back into the office and some are doing hybrid working, they want a phone, they want a headset, I should say, that can work inside the office. And as you know, Dave, a lot of these newer phones are moving more to Bluetooth interface. That's the case with Yealink. That's the case with Poly. That's the case with Mitel as well. And several other manufacturers are implementing Bluetooth. So for those folks that want a headset that'll work in both a office environment as well as at home, here's one test for you where you're going to see the Evolve 65 working with a Bluetooth desk phone and the audio test of what that sounds like. Go ahead, Ori.
Hey, Rolando.
Hey, how are you? How do you hear me?
I'm great.
Calling you through Ring Central Bluetooth connection, native Bluetooth connection directly into the Polycom VVX Bluetooth phone.
Woo, that's a mouthful. So you sound great. You know, I'm taking the call through the Ring Central app on my mobile telephone.
Yeah.
And I was able to answer the telephone from just hitting the answer end button on the headset itself. So that worked flawlessly for me on my Adapt 231.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So this is just a test. I want to see how that sounds. You sound to me, the audio I hear some side tones, so that's good to have on a headset. It should be very clear at this point. I'm going to see what happens if I can end it here as well.
Woo! Pro tip.
I'm gonna do that
Dave.
one for you.
Awesome. Go ahead. Take it away with the pro tip, Dave.
I'm throwing 2 pro tips out there. Pro tip number 1, just because you have Bluetooth in your desk phone in your office doesn't mean you should be using a $20 off-the-shelf headset. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your clients or to your customers. Buy something on the commercial spectrum. Pro tip number 2, I don't care if it's the Jabra Evolve 65, the Adapt EPOS 231, or any other headset that's out there. Know and learn how your mute function works. It may save you some embarrassment. Some headsets, they do it differently than others. Sometimes it's as easy as a button. Sometimes it's as easy as swinging the boom microphone up. But regardless, save yourself the embarrassment. Learn how your mute button works because it's going to save you and it'll keep your coworkers and clients having little side jokes about you and your environment that you work in, that you try so hard to be professional, and sometimes you just can't control what's going on around you.
That's right. And another tip I would throw out there is that when you're using with the PC on the EPOS, you get integrated functions for Teams, so you'll be able to mute yourself in Teams. You'll have that call control on the headset itself. On the Evolve 65, actually both of these come with software that allow you to customize it. So the EPOS Connect would be the software you're looking for on the PC, and when it comes to EPOS, so far the mobile app that they have for it is not. It's not going to connect this particular Bluetooth device. They have the EPOS Connect mobile app that connects others. As of taping right now, they don't have it on this one. EPOS, let us know when you're going to add this one in there, because that'd be great. On the Jabra side, you're going to have the Jabra Direct software that loads on the PC, and it's going to allow you to pair it and update and do some other things as well. You get free firmware upgrades. I highly advise you to get the Jabra Connect software for your PC, so your Bluetooth device is running and functioning up to date. Dave, you want the latest things and get all the bugs out of the way, because things get introduced all the time, and sometimes new apps release things and they get buggy. On the Jabra side for the mobile, there is a Sound Plus mobile app. It does not work with this particular device. I haven't been able to get it to work. I don't believe it was designed for it. It was designed for more the newer generation. And we have a comment. Blake, I love Plantronics. Would be nice to compare. All right, Blake, tell us what device. Plantronics has a ton of devices, and we do have other reviews on Plantronics. We love those devices. So if he has a particular one that you want to see, let us know, Blake. Right? Okay, so those are some pro tips. Dave, what else did we want to do on these two devices?
Listen, another, there's some advanced capabilities that we have that a lot of us aren't taking advantage of, and I'm certainly one of them. Voice recognition software is very popular. It's native on my MacBook, and I know Dragon Naturally Speaking is a leader in that technology, and there's many others out there. So what we wanted to do is we did some testing with just the native voice recognition software on the MacBook using the Adapt 200 series. And I'd like to throw up that demo if we have that available.
All right, so this is Dave. I'm going to be doing a test with the voice recognition feature with the EPOS Adapt 231 Bluetooth. What is the current stock price of Bitcoin?
Whoa, 59,000.
And that's a test of the Adapt 231.
Cool. I actually use that because we have Macs here in-house. I love that feature, Dave, especially if you're writing, stuff consistently. Like you said, healthcare, they use dedicated apps like Dragon. And if you're curious as to how accurate, both of these perform fairly well under those tests. This one just happened to be Dave using the EPOS to show that feature.
Absolutely. So, hey, real quick, what's the warranty like on these headsets, Rolando?
This is a big one. This is a big difference. So on the Jabra, you get 1 year. So you get 1 year, one crack at it. And the return policy after that, if it breaks down, we have other videos on how to get support and how to get it fast as well. Ori, I think we're going to have that in the description as well. So on the Jabra, you only get 1 year. EPOS, you get a 2-year warranty. And so on that part of the equation, EPOS has a slight advantage on that because you're covered for 2 years if anything happens to that particular headset.
Yeah, and like Rolando said, we have some videos that show exactly how to get fast support from both of these manufacturers and others, and we'll put the links in the description so that you can check that out as well.
All right. And so, Dave. Okay, he's got the wire. Well, that's okay. All right. So we'll take that under consideration, Blake. Thanks for letting us know the Plantronics model you'd like to see. Ori, make a note of that. We'll put it into the queue, and we'll try to see if we can bring you some worthy tests to put that particular Plantronics model through its paces. And Blake, since you're watching, as well as others, if you've liked this content and it's been valuable to you, go ahead and bump the like button, because it helps spread the message out to other folks that need to see it, and it lets us know we're on the right track. And if you like this, that's one way to show us your support. Go ahead and bump the like button on whatever platform you're watching us today. Dave, let's continue.
All
We got a
right.
few other things that we want to do. We want to show you some of the last final points here so that you can see if it's worth buying. All right, we're going to go to the mic tests.
Yep, we're gonna do a live test. So
All
I
right.
have in my possession my new favorite headset, the Adapt, the EPOS Adapt 231 Bluetooth. I have a USB-C dongle. Nothing is paired, nothing is connected. We're gonna do a live test from my MacBook over to you. Rolando, you have your headset there. You're gonna
I've
try.
got my Evolve
set that up
65.
as well.
I just got to flip the mic over to the audio path on our software here. So I'm going to sound a little bit different in about 15 seconds. So just bear with me.
Yep, I'm gonna put this on. We'll see how fast we can do this.
1, 2, 3. Ori, can you hear me?
I can hear
Yep.
you, Rolando.
Okay, good. So let me move my microphone out of the way. Oh, that's good. That's good that you went over to this video.
All right, so we got power on. Let me get this thing paired. All right, check 1, 2. And now I'm just gonna flip my sourcing over. Yeah, Blake, thank you so much for stopping by and leaving us some comments. We appreciate the interaction with you.
All right.
All right.
So, Dave, can you hear me?
I can, but give me 1 second.
All right. And I want to thank Dave. I want to thank Blake for taking the time to go ahead and engage with us today on, and I think you were on LinkedIn Live. So thank you, Blake. Thanks for the feedback. We really appreciate that. Dave, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound perfect.
Hey,
My audio, you can hear me. My audio, everything is connected through my EPOS Adapt 231. I need to stop saying that entire thing from beginning to the end. My EPOS headset. I love it. But it sounds good. You're hearing me. Hopefully my
Yep.
audio is coming through loud and clear.
all right. And I'm hearing you fine on the EPOS. I'm sorry, not on the EPOS, on the Jabra Evolve 65. And hopefully you're hearing me okay. And for those folks that are watching us, you actually getting to see what this sounds like live. Obviously, we're not using our studio microphones at this point, but you get to see what this sounds like live. So if this audio is acceptable to you, this is what you're going to sound like when you're talking to somebody else on the other line or on those online video calls. Dave, take it away.
Listen, it's so nice to hear you talking to me on a nice professional headset. We had a meeting recently. The individual was using no headset, no external speakerphone. They were just using their internal speaker on their internal microphone and speaker on their laptop. The person was sharing very important data with us, and it was so difficult for us to hear them. So what did we do? We sent them a nice headset. And now when we talk to him, we're now getting that experience that we love and expect from commercial products. Well, I know it's hard to say which one of these two headsets is going to win the battle. I think a lot of it may come down to brand preference. I think a lot of it may come down to expected warranty. And when you watch those videos on the warranty, you're going to find that both of those brands, they make it really easy. They don't want you to have to jump through hoops to get a headset replaced. They want you back working. But I got to say, my headset here, I love it. It's my new go-to. I wasn't joking with those demos when I was whipping my head around. I don't know what else I can say.
Well, so the question is it worth buying? And in your determination, it is worth buying, and you would keep it.
It is worth buying. The price point on this headset, I believe, is
The MSRP,
$169.
somewhere in that neighborhood.
For something
Under 200. Just to say under 200.
Yeah, a sub $200 headset. Absolutely, it's worth every penny of it, and I would wear it every single day.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, the Evolve 65 it's also around, I think MSRP is around 180, 180-ish. I could be wrong, somewhere in that neighborhood. You go on our website and you'll see it, what we're selling it at right now. So is it worth it? I think it's worth it. It's a sub $200 headset, Dave. It checks a lot of boxes for that professional that wants a professional quality headset at home or in the office. It has some things that we've pointed out where it does slide off the head, but if it's not a deal breaker for you and you're a worker that's planted right at your desk for most of the day, it's not going to be a problem. But if you're like me, I move around a lot, I've got a little one, I'm picking things off the floor, that would be where I would say, maybe I give the advantage to the EPOS, and I would go with the EPOS simply because of that. So is it worth buying? I would say yes, but understand your activity, your type of functionalities and what you're doing through the day, and use it if you're going to be more desk bound. If you're up and down a little bit more, like myself, you've got a little one and you're grabbing things off the floor and this particular headset does slide a little bit easier off the head than this one, then I would turn to the EPOS on this one as well, Dave, for my particular situation. But for other people, they may find out that they don't, like I said, they don't move around and they're at their desk, and when they're not using, they just put it down.
It's not an easy decision. If I had to make a decision today, I would also choose the EPOS, basically for the same reasons. The Jabra sounds great, it looks great, it's comfortable, but I guess I got to tell you, there's something about the sleek black design. I really love how it's not falling off my head. And hey, EPOS, you can't go wrong with that brand, and the extra year warranty, that's not going to hurt either.
Okay, Dave, well then that makes it somewhat unanimous, because for my particular needs, I'm leaning towards the EPOS 230 or 200 series. I would have to give for my particular need and requirements, I would go with the EPOS, and you as well are going with the EPOS. So sure. The winner in this battle of the Titans on these particular models, we would give the crown to the EPOS Screaming Viking. Well, in this case, it was not the Quiet Viking. You have the Screaming Viking being the Jabra, and then the quiet, lethal ninja being the EPOS man. So EPOS, you take the crown today and live to fight another day.
Excellent. Good demos, Rolando. I hope our viewers appreciated the time that we took to put these through the gauntlet here.
Mm-hmm. It did. It went through the gauntlet. And Dave, we've got a bunch of other videos. So if you like this head-to-head competition, you want reviews, you want fair, honest, knowledgeable people that are not just sitting inside a lab looking at numbers and spreadsheets, go ahead and join Dave and I in a bunch of other reviews. We've got another one, good one here for you, the Jabra 7 Elite. I take it out for 7 days, show you what that's like, as well as how to get that fast support, some tips and tricks on how to do that. So join Dave and I on these videos. See you then.